Let me ask you a question. When did everything stop having a price? A phone is no longer $1,200. It is $33 a month. A car is no longer $48,000. It is $699 a month. A mattress is no longer overpriced foam with a celebrity podcast discount code. It is four easy payments. Even groceries, clothes, gym memberships, software, furniture, education, and sometimes medical bills are being quietly sliced into smaller monthly pieces until the real price becomes almost impossible to feel. And that is the genius of the modern economy. Not making life cheaper, making expensive things feel survivable. Because the most powerful trick in consumer finance is not interest rates, credit scores, or confusing bank paperwork written by a lawyer having a bad day. It is this sentence, only this much per month. That sentence has done more to change how people spend money than almost anything else in modern consumer life. And at first, it sounds harmless. Monthly payments give people flexibility. They help smooth out expenses. They let people buy things they need before they have all the cash. That is the nice version. The less comfortable version is that the economy has learned how to sell unaffordability as convenience. And once you understand how that works, a lot of things start to make sense. Why cars keep getting more expensive, why phones can cost laptop money, why people can have decent incomes and still feel broke, why every company suddenly wants to become a subscription, and why the modern consumer is not really buying products anymore. They are renting their lifestyle one payment at a time. Here is the thing, a price is painful because it forces you to look at the whole number. If someone says, this costs $2,400, your brain immediately starts doing math, panicking, and asking whether you really need a refrigerator with Wi-Fi. But if someone says, this is only $67 a month, suddenly the same purchase feels reasonable. Not cheap, reasonable. And that difference is where the entire machine lives. Because psychologically, people do not judge affordability by total cost. They judge it by whether the payment fits inside this month. That is the trap. The question stopped being, can I afford this? And became, can I survive the payment? Those are not the same question. One is about wealth. The other is about cash flow. And modern finance absolutely loves cash flow because cash flow can be engineered, stretched, chopped, extended, refinanced, bundled, and sold to someone else in a suit who calls it an asset. Take cars. For decades, the normal car loan was shorter. 3 years, 4 years, maybe 5. Now 6-year and 7-year loans are common, and some loans stretch even longer. On paper, that helps buyers. A longer loan lowers the monthly payment. Beautiful. Except the car did not become cheaper. The debt just got stretched out like a sad financial yoga pose. A $45,000 car at a lower monthly payment can feel more affordable than a $30,000 car paid faster, even if the total cost is worse. And once buyers focus on monthly payments, sellers can raise the total price. That is the feedback loop. Customer says, I can afford $600 a month. Dealer says, great, let's make the loan longer. Manufacturer says, great, let's add a bigger screen, fake luxury trim, and charge more. Lender says, great, let's collect interest for longer. Everyone wins, except the person who technically owns the car, but financially lives inside the payment schedule. And this does not stop with cars. Phones used to be bought. Now they are financed. Software used to be bought. Now it is subscribed to. Movies used to be bought or rented one at a time. Now 5 different streaming services quietly charge you every month while you still spend 20 minutes deciding there is nothing to watch. Even heated seats in cars have been tested as subscriptions. Heated seats. Human civilization invented fire thousands of years ago, and somehow we ended up needing a monthly plan for warm butt technology. This is not just a funny consumer trend. It is a business model shift. Companies used to want a sale. Now they want recurring revenue. Because a one-time sale is nice, but a monthly payment is beautiful. Wall Street loves recurring revenue because it is predictable. Businesses love it because customers forget about it. Investors love it because predictable cash flow gets valued more highly. And consumers tolerate it because each individual payment feels small. The problem is that small payments do not stay small when there are 27 of
Ah,
them. One subscription is convenience, 10 subscriptions are a leak,
ah,
20 subscriptions are a second landlord with a worse app interface. And this is where the monthly payment economy becomes dangerous because every company is fighting for a tiny piece of your paycheck before you even touch it. Rent gets paid, car payment gets paid, phone payment gets paid, insurance gets paid, streaming gets paid, cloud storage gets paid, gym gets paid, credit card minimum gets paid, buy now, pay later gets paid. And by the time your money actually reaches you, it looks exhausted, like it just came back from war. This is why so many people feel broke even when their income looks okay on paper. Their paycheck is not disappearing in one dramatic financial explosion. It is being nibbled to death by monthly obligations. And the scary part is that this system can look stable for a long time. As long as the payment's clear, everyone pretends everything is fine. The lender gets paid, the company books revenue, the consumer keeps access, the economy keeps moving, but the system becomes fragile because when life is built around payments, even a small shock can become a big problem. One job loss, one medical bill, one rent increase, one car repair, one month where the math does not cooperate. And suddenly, the beautiful monthly payment machine turns into a conveyor belt moving directly toward your face. This is not new. We have seen versions of this before. In the 1920s, installment credit helped Americans buy cars, radios, furniture, and household appliances before they had the full cash. At the time, it felt modern. It felt like progress. Consumers could enjoy the future today and pay later. And to be clear, installment credit did not single handedly cause the Great Depression. History is not that simple. And anyone who says one thing caused everything is usually selling a course. But it did help create a more fragile consumer economy. Because when people borrow future income to fund present spending, the present looks stronger than it really is. Demand gets pulled forward. Companies sell more, asset prices rise, confidence grows. And then, when conditions tighten, the future shows up and asks for its money back. That is the part everyone hates. Borrowing from the future works perfectly until the future arrives. And the modern version is more advanced. In the past, you had installment plans for big purchases. Now payment plans are everywhere. You can split a $1,000 laptop. You can finance a couch. You can pay for clothes in 4 installments. You can subscribe to software, entertainment, transportation, food delivery perks, fitness apps, and digital services that all quietly renew while your bank account screams into a pillow. The mechanism is simple. Step 1, make the total price feel too painful. Step 2, break it into smaller payments. Step 3, make approval instant. Step 4, remove friction. Step 5, let the consumer stack obligations until the monthly budget becomes a junk drawer full of financial raccoons. And the reason this works so well is because humans are terrible at mentally adding recurring costs. A $12 subscription feels irrelevant, but $12 a month is $144 a year. 5 of those is $720 a year. 10 is $1,440 a year. And that is before the car payment, credit cards, phone financing, rent, insurance, and the random app you downloaded 3 years ago to edit one photo and somehow still pay for. This is the invisible inflation people feel but cannot always explain. Official inflation measures may say one thing, but your lived experience says something else, because your life has been converted into a bundle of recurring claims. The economy did not just get more expensive, it got more automated, more frictionless, more forgettable. And that matters because friction used to protect people. Having to walk into a store protected people. Having to apply for credit protected people. Having to physically hand over cash protected people. Even embarrassment protected people. Now you can make a bad financial decision in 11 seconds while lying in bed at 1:14 a.m. with one eye open. That is not convenience. That is a loaded shopping cart with a sleep disorder. And the companies know this. They know that people spend more when payment is delayed. They know that people focus on monthly cost over total price. They know that automatic renewal reduces cancellation. They know that the less painful the checkout feels, the more likely you are to buy. This is why the checkout button is smooth. This is why financing is offered before you even ask. This is why the total price is often visually smaller than the monthly payment. This is why every app wants your card, your email, your trial sign up, and your permission to quietly charge you until the sun burns out. Because the best customer is not the one who happily buys. The best customer is the one who forgets. Now, there is a fair argument on the other side. Monthly payments are not automatically evil. A mortgage is a monthly payment. Insurance can be useful. Financing can help people access essential goods. Subscriptions can be worth it if they replace more expensive alternatives. The issue is not that monthly payments exist. The issue is that monthly payments have become the default language of affordability, and that changes behavior. When people think in total price, they compare value. When people think in monthly payments, they compare pain. And businesses have learned how to reduce the feeling of pain without reducing the actual cost. That is the magic trick. You are not poorer because one giant villain stole your money in a black cape. You are poorer because hundreds of tiny systems learned how to make spending feel normal. And this has consequences beyond individual budgets. It changes the whole economy. If consumers can tolerate higher monthly payments, prices can rise. If prices rise, people need more financing. If people need more financing, companies build more financing into the product. If financing becomes normal, sticker shock disappears. And once sticker shock disappears, there is less pressure to keep the sticker price same. That is how affordability gets quietly replaced by payment management. Housing works like this. Cars work like this. Education works like this. Phones work like this. Even some healthcare bills work like this. The real price becomes almost theoretical. The payment becomes reality. And that is why the economy can look strong while people feel trapped. Spending stays high because payments keep flowing. Corporate revenue stays supported because consumers keep paying. Banks and lenders keep earning because debt keeps rolling. But underneath the surface, more future income is already spoken for. And this is the uncomfortable truth. A lot of modern economic growth depends on convincing people that they can afford things they cannot actually afford, as long as the payment is small enough. That does not mean every borrower is irresponsible. It does not mean every subscription is a scam. It does not mean everyone should live in a cave, cancel the internet, and start paying for groceries with gold coins. It means the system is designed to make the total cost emotionally invisible. And if you are not careful, your future income gets divided up before your future even begins. So what should normal people take from this? First, monthly payment is not the same thing as affordability. A payment can fit your budget and still be a bad deal. Second, always ask for the total cost, not because you need to become a spreadsheet goblin, but because the total cost is where the truth hides. Third, be careful with stacked obligations. One payment rarely ruins anyone. The stack does. Fourth, understand the incentive. If a company is aggressively pushing financing, subscriptions, or automatic renewal, it is probably not doing that because it loves your financial freedom. And fifth, remember that simple is powerful. Owning things outright is boring. Having fewer payments is boring. Keeping cash flow flexible is boring. But boring is underrated. Boring survives. The modern economy wants you optimized, subscribed, financed, upgraded, renewed, and emotionally comfortable with never fully owning anything. Because once every part of life becomes a payment, freedom becomes harder to measure. You do not notice it disappearing all at once. You notice it when your paycheck arrives, and most of it already has somewhere else to be. So maybe the real question is not whether people are spending too much. Maybe the real question is whether the economy has become too good at hiding the price of everything. And I want to know where you land on this. A, monthly payments are useful and people just need to manage them better. B, the system is designed to trap consumers in endless payments. C, both are true, which is what makes it so dangerous. Drop your answer in the comments, because if the future is just one giant payment plan, the real cost is probably much higher than it looks. Thank you so much for watching. Please comment, like, and subscribe if you like our video. Hope to see you again.